Yeah, I'm streaming now. I wanted to stream because I wanted to test something. It was a bit late, so I was going to decide to not stream actually. But oh, stream elements is showing now. I forgot I had that connected. One moment, I gotta check something else. Um, but yeah, I decided to stream anyway because I'm trying to test things like scene transition things and scene, like trying to show multiple scenes at once. And it seems I figured it out how to do it. Because I knew I used to do it in my older streams, and I just forgot how. Like I wanted to minimize a window, or if I want to do a split screen, I'll be able to do that too. But today we're just doing like a minimized window for this gameplay, and I know how to do it for like when I have my webcam um, later. I had a webcam on a laptop, but the quality is so bad. You can barely see my face in it. So I'm just gonna get a better one. For 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, I'm trying to go here. Why is it not showing? Oh fuck it. I'll just do it by phone. I don't know why it's not popping up anymore. So yeah, I'm showing something else in the window while I play this. I'm gonna play this for like an hour and a half, I guess. Not gonna be a long stream, but enough time to test some shit out. So okay, we're ready. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna play this in the background. Also, I need to get some coffee while this plays. um, one moment. I got some coffee. I also have some delicious nut butter cookies, chocolate chocolate sandwich cookies with nut butter filling. It's pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. All right, where's my mouse? Okay, this is the best mouse I've ever had too. I got a new mouse, and it's so good. And click on it.
And I made a video about it because it's literally a RuneScape scam, doubling money, double your GP in Varrock Square. I'll trim your rune armor.
Yeah,
and it worked. The scammer got a lot of money. Oh yeah, Obama was also in the hack. Yep, Obama was doubling Bitcoin that day.
Apparently.
It was wild. It was amazing. Fucking Jesus Christ, Twitter
What do I say?
promoting
Bitcoin
it.
is connected to the government
all
to
the
the
big
government.
ones, and
It was
apparently
never-
made off with 4.1 million, but got caught.
It was never like
I
something
never
to
knew
stake
they
the
got
government.
caught. I
it
thought
was
they
a
got away with it, so
psyop
this
by
will be a
them.
really interesting
That's what I
ride.
always assume.
People between the ages of 13 and 25 who are living in their mom's basement, existing off of Uber Eats,
No, it's fucked
never
up.
leaving their
Holy
homes,
shit.
and all of a sudden they're instant millionaires.
On the 15th,
Man, it's like racist against gamers. What are you talking about?
17-year-old infiltrated Twitter, posting a Bitcoin doubling
Great.
scam.
Gamers are a race.
with
That's
numerous
right.
celebrities.
Being called the biggest security incident in Twitter's history.
Former President Barack Obama, Tesla founder Elon Musk, even Microsoft's Bill Gates.
It netted him $170
I don't live
million.
at
looks like
home
a
with my
fucking
mom.
psychopath.
To a teen who, at the time of his arrest, was
And I
found
don't
with
eat
3
Cheetos.
million more. And when I did
Is
some
it feeling
digging, I found
throbbing?
that he has a long
she say
history
Cheetos?
of
I
internet
thought she
fraud
did.
and extortion. So
I'm just
today,
some
I'm going to
humongous.
tell you the untold story of Graham, how he went from stealing thousands on Minecraft to robbing millions from CEO hedge fund types to getting involved in
From
a homicide
Minecraft to
and
big
eventually
crime.
getting greedy and hacking Twitter.
Story
all
as old as
before
time.
he was 18. This is going to be a wild ride into the seedier sides of the internet, so buckle up.
I'm surprised you didn't start in RuneScape. That's where a lot of scams are started.
Your channel's literal shit.
I've
You get
heard about
0
RuneScape,
views.
yeah.
I'm basically your fucking channel, dude. Might as well say open makes MC vids. Come on now.
They work
Jesus.
together and they scam. Like
This is
my
called the
country,
biggest
they
hack.
sell
Well, I
my
guess you
country,
can see it on
it's a
screen.
scam.
Yeah, Minecraft really is a
Big
gateway
enough.
drug to some degeneracy.
Last month off of Minecraft.
I know you're DDoSing.
I didn't hit him
Thank you, 2 subs, River.
Turn him off. It's not your
subs,
first time
Havoc.
DDoSing someone.
Thank you, Havoc.
I only believe
Wait.
it because of
5
his
subs,
YouTube
Tintus.
channel.
Checking
Yes,
the volume.
but
It's actually
Most
ridiculous. Some of the stuff that Graham got up to in 2016 when he was just 14 years old. But most of all, I found that this era of his life really highlights something important
Thanks,
about his
Yusuf. Base
personality.
done, Fry
See,
Lord.
Graham was running
Wordy.
what was a rather large YouTube channel for the niche that he was in. He was doing videos on a Minecraft game mode known as Hardcore Factions, and in his videos he was extremely charismatic and charming. But underneath this act, he was really leveraging and taking advantage of his audience to scam them for money. And
Jesus
worst
Christ,
of all,
thank you for the
when
feedback, man.
exposed, he would show
Thank you
zero
for that.
regard for
Appreciate
right and
the
wrong.
buck.
He literally didn't care what other people thought of him. Look, what we're about to explore on the surface is
This is
just the
Minecraft.
shenanigans of a young teenager. But what it helps us understand is how he was able to make a seemingly small leap out of this world into committing his later, much more serious crimes.
How old is he?
I mean, we should
Before
have known he was up to no good. He was
What
using TeamSpeak in
influenced Graham
2016.
to arrive at this point in his life?
Discord existed
Well,
back then.
very little is known about his childhood, other than that he was raised by his mom, a single parent. As you've seen already, he certainly appears to have been a troubled youth, perhaps at risk to
Yes,
get
this is
involved
the
in any
reason.
sort of
It's
crime.
'cause he
But
had a
I would bet money on
single
Hardcore
parent raising him.
Factions being his first
That's it.
introduction
Case
to the
closed.
dark side of internet fraud and extortion. There's a lot of context here,
That's
so
what they'll say,
let
though.
me explain. See, this game mode was
can
originally
only-
devised and hosted by
I
Shopify.
mean, sure, this can
It
happen.
was a twist on the
I mean,
already notoriously
it's good to
toxic
have
game
both
mode
parents, but
Factions PvP.
It's not automatically
Never
mean
heard
At its
mean
core,
you're going to
players
be
an
an
evil
formed
Minecraft
teams,
guy.
aka factions. They
Or
would
like
build
a bad
bases
person.
to store their loot, and they would fight members of other factions with the hopes of beating them so they could raid their bases for the riches and bragging rights.
Sounds fun.
This new hardcore version had a couple of twists that really pitted players against each other. The most intense of these changes is that
fuck?
if you were killed, you would be banned from the server for the duration of your playtime. And this gave players time to stew,
And it bricks your
often
computer.
coming up with a plan for revenge.
Like a
even
roguelike.
if it
Die in the
was
game,
taking
you
it
die in
outside
real
of
life.
the game.
Yeah, it's like a roguelike. Big fucking deal.
Thanks for the bits, Havoc, and the resub.
During this era, Minecraft cheating clients were becoming extremely popular due to griefing
Maybe not
people on
tonight,
YouTube,
Havoc.
glamorizing their destructive
But I do
nature.
love it, Sonny.
And Hardcore Factions was no exception to this. With the stakes so high, it was almost irresistible. X-raying was one thing, but the real power was in the PvP cheats. Players were
motherfucker.
almost forced into it to
That's
remain
shit.
competitive. Now, that said, I don't think the actual cheating was the worst part. No, the worst part was the culture around these clients. See, hardcore faction players were known for
Thank you for the
DDoSing,
subs, Edgar.
account
Thank you, man.
hijacking, and even swatting. The hack client culture had permeated into these servers. There was, and still is, an overlap between Minecraft cheating and actual hacking communities. You know, I remember...
What's the point, though? Do we have any, like,
Minecraft. Of course, this is all about Minecraft.
Minecraft competitive
That's a
enthusiasts?
cesspool.
Like, what do you get out of cheating in Minecraft? Like, in RuneScape, I
Clout.
understand why there's so much cheating and so much foul play there, because you can make real money off it, and
Yeah,
some of those
that's right.
scammers, some of those botters
Is
make
there real money
full-blown
dollars to be made from Minecraft?
What do you get from
too?
Minecraft? Like, there's no currency in Minecraft you can sell.
It doesn't have currency. Okay, I don't know then.
Just clout.
Yeah, clout.
I'm number 5 in the world in Minecraft. You
Yeah.
come in here and tell lies to me like that? Want that right to my fucking face?
I'm better than what's his name, the guy with the smiley face.
Okay. So you really just get bragging rights and clout, I guess. That doesn't really seem worth. Thanks for the gift sub suddenly, and the resub super, and the prime. Kyo?
A young teen than myself, and that place was literally my first introduction into the world of booters, dump databases, credential stuffing, remote administration tools, you name it. They were using all of those techniques there to procure hacked Minecraft accounts. On Hardcore Factions, people were literally purchasing and selling stolen accounts known as alts for a few pennies each to continue playing during that period after death. But for some,
Well, there's a little
like
incentive.
Graham, they would end up exploring these techniques outside of the context of Minecraft. It was like a stepping stone, because these same techniques could be applied to get into any type of online account.
This is your one,
Banks,
Deadman.
social
Some
media,
Greece.
crypto exchanges, you name it.
Oh, that's a good title for this section.
They're treating us so seriously.
Scamming piece of shit. Say you make 5K a month.
This
That's
is
bullshit.
the story of the
Scamming kid
notorious.
for $30. Hit a bitch
I
up.
thought this was
You
called.
can get a holla, man. Shut the fuck.
How deep does this go?
Now, of course,
Now that was fire. I don't know who that was. That might have been Playboy Cardi on the track. I'm not sure. That man rhymed shit with
It did
bullshit
sound like him.
and shut up and fuck up. Or no, hit a bitch up and shut the fuck up. So up with up and shit with shit. That's innovation. That's pretty good.
Of course, just being involved in these
It's not
communities,
bad.
Graham didn't immediately break into high-level social engineering overnight. There was a series
I mean,
of
he
events
needs
that
to be-
seemed to have led Graham down that path, each step of the way less innocent
Why
than
is
the
he
one
the only
before.
one wearing a
And
mask?
you know it's bad when someone makes a 6-minute-long diss track chronicling all that you've done wrong.
Say you care about your fans, man. You don't give a fuck. Scamming, doxing, faking,
This flow
boy
is
widows,
terrible.
and
See, Graham
This is
first
the
broke
worst
bad
flow I've
between
ever heard.
2016 and
Reset
2017
Disraeli,
on his YouTube
Planet,
channel where he
Prime
mainly
Sam.
posted trapping videos. Those are
True
clever
Cody.
ways to kill other players in hardcore factions. And he did all this under his Minecraft name, OpenHFC, and later just Open. That username is important, by the way, and very telling, but we'll get back to it shortly. Now, instead of finding legitimate ways to monetize his niche internet micro-celebrity fame, instead he turned to devising little scams to rip off his audience, often with an accomplice.
Open was with Feed. Feed is pretty much Open's scamming buddy.
Though, when you watch some of these, you really get the idea that Graham was the one leading the entire thing.
The deal was I'd give him $50 and a shout out for a Minecraft cape.
I'll give you the link first. Alright, that's the redeem.
Man, how much of a nerd can you be?
User disconnected from your channel.
People pay money
He
just
said
for a
he's
shout
looking
out
for server
for
trailers
this
to
fucking
upload.
game.
Do not work with this guy.
I don't know.
He charges like $200 a trailer, and then he doesn't even.
I
upload it,
can't
he just runs
love a
with
game
your money.
that much
Made
for
a
a
fake
shout out.
giveaway.
Yeah,
For-
he already admitted it was fake, so don't even try and play like
How
that.
big is this
Fake
guy?
giveaway. I
It's
just
just a guy who
didn't give
hacked,
shit to the winner.
Exactly.
who hacked a bunch of
No matter how many
clout.
No, the giveaway wasn't fake. I just decided not to give away anything. But it wasn't fucking fake. And how dare you say that it was, swine? So this is accomplice talking? So this is 2016, so they would have been, what, 15 here? Oh,
It's back in them
I think
days.
something like that. Thanks in tier 1. Atrialic and the prime cookies and the resub Bryn.
I'm eating cookies.
14 to 15? Okay. So they're still in that range.
When videos came out, his audience didn't really seem to care or even dwindle. He was still growing. And when he did catch flack, he'd just try to talk his way out of it.
DDoS and attempt to where?
Okay,
I
God.
can't have an NC resolver of a
let
staff
me ask
member.
you this: why would you want a staff member to RP? Just tell me.
Who said I wanted his IP?
Well, why are you searching on NC Resolver then?
Who said that? What if I want to see a skin?
And when someone pinned him, he'd brag about it.
Oh shit!
I will stop.
Of course.
So if I say fuck you, is that staff disrespect?
This is friendly fire.
I'm like 12, but I make.
No.
You think I'm kidding?
He's like 12.
I made 5K.
What did he say?
It's like,
Damn.
He said,
Kid's balling.
Off Minecraft.
Keep in mind, these are all pretty much YouTubers that he scammed. You can imagine the amount of other people he scammed with no following to expose him to. Nothing
should
about
bring
his
in the
channel
prime.
was
He scammed
honest. Even the
YouTubers.
trapping videos were exposed.
"It just shows how smart
One of
YouTubers
Open's
are."
friends recorded Open faking his clips and planning it out.
I swear, Pastor, you're gonna be like the type to make an expose video on this bitch.
If anything, though, having so many people help him make these videos really
Good
illustrates something about Graham. He was good at getting people to do what he wanted. In fact, at some point,
It
Graham
doesn't
set
sound
up
like
a
it.
Minecraft server.
It sounds like no one respected him. It's so much so that he needed to say that he makes 5K a month off Minecraft. Like going into random team speaks to talk about the money he makes. It doesn't seem like he was successful at getting anyone to do what he wanted besides that one guy that was suckling on his bosom for pennies, I imagine, little crumbs. Oh, this was after the scam, that voice call. Okay, alright, maybe, okay. Maybe my timelines are getting shifted.
I don't even understand the scam.
Lucas PvP.
I don't know
He
enough
lacked
about
the technical
Minecraft.
talent to do it, but to compensate, he talked his way into getting other people to set it up for him.
Like this
The
is
whole
literally
community around
I don't know
Minecraft
why you're complaining.
just creeps me out. So
Give you
I've stayed away
$10 for the
from it.
clip, and it
The
will
same
set
reason
up
for
your damn
Roblox
server,
as
yes.
well.
And when they
Although
wouldn't do it
Roblox
for
has some
free,
good
they
mods,
usually
I
try
might go
scamming
and
them.
play some of them.
The bread cook.
All you need to do
I just won't
give me your work.
get engrossed in the community.
About the plugin, sent it to him in a file, and as soon as we sent it, he said thanks bitches, and then he spammed John Cena like soundboards and everything, and then he left.
I don't play
Yeah,
with
that's
your
totally
crap, bro.
2015.
You mess with me, you mess with my boy. You want to know who my boy is? My boy.
He even scammed
okay.
YouTubers into
Okay,
promoting
kid.
it.
This is the description and shit that he wants you to put for a trailer.
Man,
that
that's
basically
nostalgic.
His talent was in manipulation, not technology, and he didn't seem to want to pay for anything, no matter how little the cost. He was greedy, and this is foreshadowing.
Well, I don't want to pay for anything either.
Now, there's one last aspect from this time in Graham's life that we've yet to examine. His username.
What the fuck? I didn't have to do any of this on my level 1.
Well, he likely
What the
purchased
fuck
it for a
happened?
few $100s off somebody who stole it. See, there
I
is
don't
a
remember
whole
doing
market
any of this
for
on my level
unique
1.
usernames like this, be it for Instagram, Twitter, Minecraft, you
Did
name
I
it.
do something
and
wrong?
Worse,
Why?
there's a group of
Seems
people
like a
who
waste
are
of money.
acutely aware of this and have made careers
forgot
out
all
of
about
obtaining
this.
these names for sale by any means possible. The most notorious form for this is OG Users. It's a known marketplace where these types
It's
of
like a
usually
Switch.
stolen social media
Like
accounts
Switch.
are traded. While of course they don't openly advertise or condone the illegal side of how members obtain these accounts, some of the worst stories
bitch
of
behind
targeted
me.
harassment and extortion that I've ever heard of were committed by members of this form. And by 2016, Graham had set up an account to buy and sell usernames here. But it wasn't until
That seems like such a
2018 that he really
worthless
got involved.
niche.
Basically, right at the end of his
You're
Minecraft
running a
career,
bit too fast there,
Facebook
sir.
Actions was falling out of popularity, and so this
Stop
was
that
a
shit.
natural transition, given that the communities are somewhat linked already, and Graham has a proclivity
You're
for
the worst
making
one.
decisions in
So
the
just
pursuit
go.
of money. You've got to understand, a good
Cannon
name
fodder,
like
same to
Panda on Twitter will go for thousands of dollars. There's serious money in backing them, and
You're not a
the
football
members
player.
of this
Stop
firm
charging.
have varying levels of experience. Of course, the vast majority have no idea what they're doing, but at the very top you have a handful of folks that are versed in blackmail, doxing, phishing, sim swapping, to name a few of the techniques that they use to take over accounts.
Put on
And
the
Graham,
katanas.
being a social butterfly, was getting himself involved with that more experienced crowd.
I made Graham under the alias Graham, which was probably
What am I looking at?
all the people knew him.
It's like
as
an
the
old
Minecraft
sci-fi movie from the 80s.
guy. He used to just scam people all the time. Then,
It's like
he
that movie
started,
Real
like, hacking
Geniuses,
people.
only lamer.
He was a sim swapper.
They fucking uploaded Zordon to the metaverse there. I don't really know what that was, but it was intense.
That's something they do
When
need to
they
put in the
finally
metaverse.
captured
Put
Graham,
Zordon.
they made it known to me that
I
there
would-
was probably some recovery that was
sign up
available
for
to me.
Exactly 1 year before the Twitter hack on April
I'd promote
15,
it.
2019, tech investor Greg Bennett was having a little afternoon business chat with his son when his mobile phone dropped signal.
It absolutely goes dead.
What the
There's
fuck
no
am I?
cell signal, no nothing. I
There's
can't
nothing
get
up
into
there?
my email account either.
He was the target of a SIM swap attack.
I immediately called up AT&T, and they say, sorry, sir, that's not your account.
That's your
All
first
my
problem.
crypto accounts have been hacked.
What a
And think about how
moron.
easy this is. If somebody takes over your phone, all
No.
those folks have to do
This
is
can
use
happen
your
to
email
some
address to try to log on to these accounts, and then say, forgot password. So then
Oh, they came
have
back?
resets is sent to your
The fuck
text,
are you
which
doing?
is now controlled by another phone that you don't have. And they reset the passwords, and now they have complete control over getting into all of your crypto accounts.
This type of attack was becoming more and more common. While it was originally devised to break into social media accounts and steal their rare usernames, perpetrators on OG users
Anybody else
quickly realized that they could use the same technique to
Oh, no,
break
I
into the
sat down.
accounts of large crypto holders.
The way Graham used to find his target, he would go on like the Twitter accounts of Coinbase, Bittrex, Binance, and he'd see who looked rich, who didn't, who flexed, who didn't, who looked more wealthy.
Once Graham and never identified accomplices targeted Greg, they would have doxed him to get his phone number and email addresses, and then used that information to execute the SIM swap. In total, they got away with what amounted to be 164 bitcoins. 100 of that
That was a Bitcoin
straight
scam. That's
and the
what
other
happened.
64 was various altcoins.
Of course.
At the time, that
See, the
was
blockchain don't save you from shit.
$56,000, but in today's value,
It's
it would be
all
worth
hot air,
$6.3 million.
It's all
so
smoke
what the
blowing
heck
up
does he do
people's
with it?
asses.
He balls out.
According
to the Times,
This ain't the
Graham
first
was
one of these
attracting
I've heard
attention
of
at school because he seemed to have an
hell
unusual
no.
amount of wealth for his age. He was buying
He
designer
came out of
clothes,
nowhere, sir.
apparently flashing large amounts of cash, and of course he had that being.
You went to
Oh,
Gaither?
shit.
I mean, I knew he was a Florida man. I didn't know he was a
But
Gaither
from your
high school
town,
man.
your state.
Bro, I knew so many people that went to Gaither. That's crazy.
For his age. He was buying designer clothes,
Not that it matters.
apparently flashing large amounts of cash. And
I
of
would
course
have
he
been
had that
well
being
graduated by the time he was a Gaither.
But where he was really
He
showing
went to the
off
same
was on
university?
his Instagram account at Air. Now, unfortunately, this account has since
Oh
been
my
terminated.
god,
for most
dude.
of
Good
the
thing I got the bubble.
time. But to give you an idea,
Oh,
of
hell.
the
The bubble did
purchases
not
he was
save me.
posting about, one of the things that did survive is this shout out from a jeweler to the hip hop elite showing that Graham had purchased himself a gem encrusted Rolex. Dude was spending some mad coin, but I think there's something a little deeper here than him just having been a 17-year-old showing off. I mean, this was part of SimSwapper culture.
People between the ages of 13 and 25 who are living in their mom's basement, existing on Uber Eats, never leaving their homes, and all of a sudden they're instant millionaires.
Sounds brilliant to me. Don't work hard, work smart. Work smarter.
There was idolized members of OG users like Windblow, Xavier,
Scam
and Joel,
people.
who between
That's how the real
2016
billionaires
and
do it. That's how they
2019,
get the
without
money.
any punishment
By
up until
scamming.
then, stole into the
But they get
tens
away
of
with it.
millions of dollars by
This
sim
kid did
swapping,
not.
and they were openly living lavish lifestyles because of it.
If he only agreed to join the big club, he would have gotten away with it.
I mean, Xavier
He
literally
must have
purchased
refused.
a
He
$200,000
probably got
McLaren
propositioned,
with
but
stolen
he
crypto and
refused.
posted about it on
They
Instagram.
decided to, like,
First,
rat
he
him
was
out and
publicly
say,
sharing
well, this
videos
guy's an
like
evil
this,
guy,
too. Notice
a
the
criminal,
signs
he needs to
spelling
be
out
arrested.
his handle. This was
But
at
if
the
he took the
Hyde
deal,
Sunset Club in Los
they would've,
Angeles.
you know,
That is not
agreed to
HGTV.
fly on
His
Epstein,
friend,
Lolita
another
Express,
SimSwapper,
you know, they
Joel
would've accepted.
Cortez was there too, posting videos of them
But then
dumping
he would've had that
$200
black
bottles
bill for
of
later.
glow-in-the-dark champagne over designer watches. At least he got this good selfie with those bottles first, because now he's
It's
doing
a big
decade
club.
in prison
Hey,
at
is it-
21
you ain't
years
in
old
it.
for having stolen.
Unless you
Are
agree.
you telling me this guy is 21 years old? That's a rough 21.
You're propositioned by
Man,
somebody.
you sim swap and it costs you 10 years of your life. Jesus. My man is not looking like a 21-year-old. This guy looks like he has 5 kids at home.
Yeah, he aged a lot.
$7.5 million.
Probably from the
I
stress.
digress. These were all young guys stealing a ton of money,
Age
spending it
swap.
fast.
True.
Stress will do that to
And
you.
I
It'll
can
make you
totally
age up
see
real
how Graham
quick.
could have idolized these people, and
Although
perhaps that's
some
why he
people,
seemingly
they-
followed in their footsteps.
That doesn't affect them. I've been quite stressed over my life,
Graham
but I still
and
look
friends
young,
actually ran into
apparently,
a problem
according to my
when
brother.
stealing from Greg.
Because I had a 100 Bitcoin limit in this.
And according to
specific
people I've
account
met,
with Bittrex,
in
they
general.
repeatedly try to go back in and
Like, when I
take
tell
whatever
people my real age, they don't
that
believe it.
account, but the 100 Bitcoin limit kind of mitigated my loss.
I got carded.
And so,
I got
just like
fucking
the Minecraft
carded
days, when one
downtown
scam isn't
last
working,
week.
iterate. In this
I
case,
just now remember
that meant
now.
extortion.
That
Graham
happens.
Clark, who
Like,
was
what the
going
fuck,
by
dude?
Scrim at that time, as his
Do I
pseudonym,
really look
tried
like
to
I'm underage?
ransom you
Apparently
from your
I do.
own email address to regain access to your
I'm
information
older than the
for
teller.
an additional 50 Bitcoin. Was that what
They
they,
said they
tried
said
to
the
do
card
as
was
well?
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
so I actually had
I thought they
4
were
email
joking.
accounts.
They weren't.
They had actually hacked all 4 of them and then gave me access, re-gave me access to one, and used that as a vehicle to try to communicate and extort more from me.
But as the days go on and Greg isn't responding to the ransom, it becomes apparent
So Greg
that Graham
slapped him
has
down.
pulled a fast one on his accomplices.
Graham decided to keep all the money and he didn't split it with the other people.
I assume Graham vanished on whatever
They're gonna kill you.
messaging service they were using, because they get desperate and start trying to reach him through Greg's email, threatening that they're going to turn him into the police if he doesn't share 66% of the theft.
Makes sense to me.
A lot of people didn't
You better
like
share, we're gonna
the choices
snitch.
he made. So obviously that's going to come with some backlash. They got his family's personal info. They were just constantly harassing him. Someone sent people to Graham's house to scare him or even rob him at one point.
Well, they're planning this robbery. Wanted to have him like tortured. Like,
holy shit.
Stop that.
The thing is, he was no ghost. After this, he was the subject of a criminal investigation which ultimately led to a search warrant being executed at his residence in August 2019, just 4 months after this theft. Get this,
One more
from
shot.
that they seized $15,000 in cash and 400 Bitcoin from Graham. That is a crap ton more than what we knew about. I mean, I assume he was involved in many similar SimSwap attacks that were never linked back to him to acquire that, but at this point, I don't think we're ever really going to know for sure. Now, while Graham was waiting on the outcome of this criminal investigation, which seized his money, according to the Times...
Oh, we got a wet blade. Hell
peers,
yeah.
There's some claims that
That's
he's
a
done
fire
with
bleeding.
drugs.
Might be bleeding.
Everything from vapes to weed.
Why would you?
Or
If you
flame, I
have
forgot.
400 Bitcoin and you keep somehow successfully scamming, why would you go to, like, selling drugs? That's such a unnecessary leap. It's taking
It just
steps
wasn't
backwards
enough, I
and
guess.
Increasing the danger to yourself.
It wasn't
Isn't it
enough,
such
the
a
money he was
fucking
already
idiot that must have
making.
just got
He just
really
wanted to
lucky.
increase the risk like a moron.
And over Christmas break,
Fucking idiot.
January 4th, 2020 now, this got him involved in a home invasion in which one of his friends ended up dead.
2 people were shot, one of them dead after an apparent home invasion in Citrus Park. The other is in critical condition. It happened at the Seasons at West Chase apartment complex on the 12,000
Man, I never experienced a home invasion
At about
in all of my
7:30
life.
PM, two
And I
teens
lived in a
kicked
bad
a
neighborhood.
screened back patio and
I
let
really-
themselves
sorry, I
into
said
an
that
apartment
weird.
through an unlocked
I was
door.
eating- I
One
was
of them
swallowing,
was carrying a firearm. Both
some drink I
made
was
demands
drinking.
of
But
the
no, I lived in a bad
residents.
neighborhood.
Man with his fiance.
Never
and
experienced a
that
home
man
invasion
retrieved
once.
the gun and opened fire. hitting
I gotta
both
wonder,
teens,
like,
according
some
to
home
the
invasions,
sheriff's
I gotta wonder,
office.
how
They
authentic
were
are
in
a
the
lot of the
hospital
home
where
invasions?
one was pronounced dead and the other was listed as in critical condition. When patrol deputies arrived on scene, they located
I lived
a
in the
suspicious
hood.
vehicle with two
Never
more
got a home
teenagers
invasion.
inside. One of those teenagers was Graham.
I got
From the
robbed
police file,
once
one of the
in my
kids
entire
claims that
life.
Graham had essentially set them up. He went with them
when
to
I
the
was a
house
kid anyway,
of
not
another drug
as an
dealer
adult.
with a gun, and then
But,
took off when he heard the shots. In his interview with police,
As-
Graham denies anything about it.
As a, well, let me pause right quick.
I'm not aware. That's why I gave them money. If they were gonna go,
Yo, I got robbed. My family got robbed when I was a really young child, but it was in a good neighborhood. It was in the suburb. That's the only place we've ever experienced robbery, was a suburb. Twice, actually. Got robbed twice in a suburb. That's the only place I've ever been robbed. Never in the hood, though. I don't know. It's really weird.
rob someone, why would I give them money?
Like, we used to live in the, like, my mom, like, she used to have a good job, so when I was really young, we used to live in a suburb. But then she left that job because it was an evil job. It was an evil corporation. And then we had some bad family issues with the stepfather, so we had to move back to St. Louis into a more poor neighborhood, in the straight up, you know, in the ghetto, but never got robbed there. That's really weird.
Is that believable? What's believable? What you're telling us. I counted 55.
So maybe this just happens more in the suburb.
They walk and they go to the thing. So what makes you think I know that they're going to rob?
From the police reports, they concluded that there's no proof.
This
of
has
what
so
Graham's
much
actual
to it.
goal
I thought it was just
the only thing they knew for sure was that
fucking
he was
turbo
outside
nerd
the
who
car
hacked
when the
Twitter
shooting took
accounts.
place. There wasn't enough evidence to convict him, and so he went free. 2 days after the shooting, and one
I'd
day
buy that
before
action
students
figure. That
returned
sounds like
after
an action
Christmas
figure.
break, the principal
Turbo
sent
nerd.
an email saying,
Get
"Those
yours
who were
this
involved in
Christmas."
the shooting face serious
Better
charges
than
and
Turbo
will not
Man,
be returning."
that's for sure.
And so this was the end of Graham going to high school,
crime weird
and
tier
it's
one
at
man
this
zone.
point, with his world crumbling around him, that he decides to move out on his own. And this was possible because the feds let him off real easy on the SimSwap case.
Oh, that
What the
sounds like the feds.
Why? Every single penny that this defendant has access to is by
What year was
God
this?
gains.
After an
I thought this was
8-month-long
2015. Everyone wearing a
investigation,
mask.
all the charges against Graham.
Well, this was 5
dropped.
years, and then they just now had a trial, like 20
Where
something.
he had to give up blah 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 amount of funds, and once doing so,
This voice sounds like Moist Critical.
Out of all of that money
voice
seized,
sounds just like
they
him.
only made him give up 100 Bitcoin.
Did he do voiceover
They
for
essentially
this?
were after him for the
He
theft
was
of
an
$1 million.
actor.
When they raided his apartment,
He might
they
have done
found
gigs like
$3
this.
million more on top of that, and they let him walk free with that money as long as he paid back what they knew he had stolen.
Our office spoke with the prosecutors in California about the decision to have him pay restitution and basically not to criminally charge him as an adult.
It seems that the main reason for this outcome is because there is a lot of barriers to charging a minor with a crime, especially at the federal level.
The law may need to be changed to allow the federal system to catch up with the reality that you have younger kids getting involved in online scams, crypto scams that really merit more serious prosecution and punishment, which federal law doesn't currently allow.
I mean, he was thankful.
Hey, Scooter, good to see you. How you doing,
Well, bad way. He wanted to move forward and invest all the money he's made over the years into a legitimate business. He wanted to work
This sounds just like him.
in general and moving on to more legit things.
But I think the real lesson Graham
Moist Critical, is there something you want to tell
as long
us?
as he's a minor, he can steal all this money and get away with it.
Is that why we're
Because
watching this?
2 months after April 2020, when he got back 75% of his seized assets, he went on to hack Twitter. And this is important because Graham's birthday is in January. He had less than 8
Capricorn,
months
eh?
before he
Or he
turned
could be
18.
Could
The
be
clock
a,
was ticking down.
I guess
Graham's
Aquarius.
becoming an old man and aging is cringe.
Hopefully he's an Aquarius. I don't want him giving us Capricorn to
We're
bad
watching
name.
this story. Several high-profile Twitter accounts appear to have been hacked.
Being called the biggest security incident in Twitter's history.
It's all part of a Bitcoin scam.
Oh my god, this is such a crazy
Tesla
day.
Founder Elon Musk, even Microsoft's Bill Gates, just some of the big names targeted by con artists.
Fuck Bill Gates and
If
Elon
you were
Musk.
on Twitter that day,
I don't care.
and read the replies
Yeah,
to those
target
tweets,
them. That's fine.
oh man,
You're doing a public
your
service.
whole
That's
foundation of how you perceive the universe would have been shaken.
In
People
Minecraft, I
genuinely
mean, not
thought
in
those
real
were
life.
real tweets from
And
those
it
really
did
rich
involve
accounts.
Minecraft, so
They
that's
started sending
accurate. That's
Bitcoin
just
to them,
accurate
and
here.
they would check in a couple hours later, wondering when the double was coming back. It was fucking wild. How
Oh, shit.
anyone could fall for that is beyond me. Because it's not just like octogenarians that don't understand the internet. These are crypto bros. Like, these are pretty young guys that were falling for this. It's crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Anyone
They
who
fell
sent
for a
money to those
pyramid
accounts
scheme.
very much did deserve that. Like, I don't know how anyone could possibly fall for something that blatantly obvious. It is the oldest scam in the entire history of the internet. It's crazy. And apparently he made millions from it.
50 transactions have already been sent to that Bitcoin address.
July 15th, 2020, Twitter
Fucking
erupts into
idiots.
chaos, and everybody is desperately trying to find out how this happened and who is behind it. The search goes back to these two OG user members, who both have made threads literally less than 24 hours before, offering to sell any username you want for a few $1,000s. This was godlike access, the stuff of fairy tales within these circles. And so Hasib Awan, founder of a SimSwap protection service, picks up that these two obviously have access to some huge breach to be able to offer this service, and so he posts a screenshot of the thread showing it as a possible lead as to who is behind the attack. And Chewan freaks out. He messages Hasib and says, "Please remove this. I am not the bad guy. I don't want to get in trouble here."
I'm just a broker. I had no involvement in the hack, and it's freaking me out. He was just trying to prove that I'm just a middleman. I actually didn't do anything.
Turns out this was a 19-year-old from the United Kingdom, Mason Shepard, and he was very scared about what his implication in all of this was going to be. And Hasib, having the foresight that this guy is likely going to be arrested within 24 hours, suggested that he talks to a journalist right away to set his side of the story straight. It turns out that he had been contacted along with another OG user member, Nima Fazeli, aka Rolex, by this mysterious Discord alias Kirk, claiming that they work for Twitter and they can get any username. Neither of the soon-to-be accomplices believe it. Scams run rampant within these communities, and so they both say, "Prove it." And Kirk does. He proceeds to give them both access to rare handles, along with sharing pictures of Twitter's internal tools. To quote Rolex's response, "Damn, I'm in." And so this is when the sales threads went up. And over the next few hours, before Joe Biden, before Elon Musk, all of these rare, non-celebrity accounts are being taken over. In total, they brokered the sale of $40,000.
Oh, I thought it was 40,000 usernames.
3,000 was Kirk, and the rest was kept by the now accomplices as a brokerage fee. Nighttime now in the UK, and real happy about having just made a few grand, Mason goes to bed. He even shared a picture with the Times of him saying goodnight to his girlfriend before it all went to hell to prove he wasn't behind it. Unfortunately for Mason, I don't think he fully...
Wait, what? Did that say goodnight, Porky? I love you, baby. Nap well. Oh, this is even worse that these screenshots came out. That's worse than facing jail time. Goodnight, Snowflake, and goodnight, Porky.
Sounds fake.
That's...
I don't know. People do give each other goofy nicknames like that. Pet names.
It wasn't behind it. So unfortunately for Mason, I don't think he fully understood what his involvement in this meant for his future.
Thanks to Reset Edgy,
Tonight,
LeBron,
the
Quinn,
FBI is
and
leading a
Neil.
new investigation
Sweaty.
into the most high-profile hack in Twitter history.
Almost immediately, the public knew it all started on OG users. But as the days rolled on after the attack, the answer to the biggest question of all was starting to come to light.
Yeah, so much health.
Kirk, and how did they get access to Twitter?
Why you got so much health?
Watch it actually be Elon Musk.
May 2020. It was literally only a factor of days after Graham wrapped up his case with the Secret Service that him and another kid started.
Now I lost all of those rooms.
What's really remarkable is his accomplice.
He one-shot me with that bullshit poker,
just
dude.
15, but much more sophisticated than Graham. And according to investigators, the two had previously worked together on SIM swap scams. Being so young, this guy was never publicly charged, so much about him remains a mystery, but we do know he was a member of OG users since age 13.
Isn't that fucking crazy? That blows my mind. That 13-year-olds and 15-year-olds are these, like, unironic, elite fucking hacker maniacs.
Well, they're not 15
like
anymore.
Every high-profile hack, at least that I can think of, was orchestrated by someone sub-18 years old. That absolutely blows me away. Because when I was a kid, I couldn't sit down and do, like, fucking
this isn't surprising to me. I went to school with people like this.
On passwords in RuneScape or something like that for more than, like, 2 minutes.
This isn't even that complicated.
I don't know how they could possibly do that, especially at that age, when you're constantly just, like, hitting puberty. You just want to fucking... You think about titties and boobs and Google butthole, and meanwhile, there are some kids that are so motivated that they will sit there for hours and hours and hours just tediously coding.
We get plenty of titties and boobs.
It is a wild concept.
Pull this off with all that money.
Like, what was the story we read a couple weeks ago? The guy who hacked North Korea, wasn't he like 16 or 17?
That North Korea hack looked so phony to me.
Should really be hiring these kids
that didn't look real.
You know, secure things or whatever.
I don't believe that North Korea hack at all.
Legal gray area of child labor, but they're clearly much better at it than the officials.
Sure they are.
And prior to this, he was actually involved
in
hacking
everything you're told.
By this time,
I don't believe anything they say about other countries.
With so many high-profile cases,
you can never trust the U.S. when they say shit about
making the move to non-SMS-based two-factor authentication. And so these two took the same set of skills, but applied them to a new target.
The self-employed attorney, not a fan
they lie to the public all day
about 2 months after sheltering in place. Twitter
just
is making
lie to them about
a
anything
option for
that's
some.
compromising to the
just months
authority
after COVID hit
in
the
general.
West. Amidst the massive shift to working from home, companies were rushing to deploy systems, allowing their employees to remote in. But this wasn't
I need to open that chest.
Realized
but they need to die from
abusing
chest.
At first, casting a massive net. They started by compiling a list of Twitter employees on LinkedIn and used job recruiters to obtain their phone numbers. From here, they used the same skills required for those SIM swap attacks. Really, it was about being convincing on
your
phone,
friends
calling employees for
social engineering
department. Hey, we've got a problem with your account. I need you to
log in.
Give
a lot of souls here.
Except it was a phishing page. The employee would enter their username and
that's
password, and that would be stolen. From this, they were able to get into Twitter's internal Slack channels and start piecing together who had access to the admin tools that they were really after. The net was getting smaller, and they tailored the attack to target this group specifically.
That's a good question. How do the adults fall for the kids' voices? So I imagine what they did is they used some kind of voice filters. Kind of like how VTubers will use filters from time to time, right?
Filters
so I imagine they used filters to change their voice around and be convincing enough. Social engineering is basically the most efficient form of hacking. If like
Is that
any
really
service
hacking?
has customer support that
It's
can
not
actually
hacking.
solve problems over the phone,
Just lying to
they
people.
can easily be manipulated into just giving up that information. That's how almost all of the big hacks have happened. So I think
Yeah, they're not
AT&T
like
is the most vulnerable
going in
one.
there
They're
and changing
pretty
code or
fucking dog shit
anything.
from everything I've read.
Just
All
lying to
you
people
really
to
need
get
to do
personal.
is just say like, hey, my phone, my
They're
dog
not doing
pissed
that-
on it,
that
it's
fucking hacker
malfunctioning,
movie shit.
everything's gone all cattywampus, I need you to give me all my passwords.
Clickety-clack,
And I
clack
sure
shit.
bet.
They're not doing that.
They just like tell you it. So it's like super simple in theory, but I guess
It
it's
is
just
simple.
a
It's
pretty
not
hard thing to
theory. That's
execute
just
since
how
it
it
only
is.
happens occasionally.
Yeah, they're just straight up lying, trying to get sensitive
And
info
on
from people.
July 14th,
Give us your password, and we'll solve this
Graham
problem.
and his
We had a
accomplice
call
were in. They
telling
now
us
had
you have an
access to
issue with
every
your
Twitter account,
system
and they
here.
could take them over
You need to give
with a
us your
click of a button.
password so we can fix it. You know, that shit.
So, starting
So-
at 3 in the morning, the two start
nothing
taking over these
complicated.
rare usernames and selling them under the alias Kirk. But by afternoon, 2 p.m.,
Yeah, a
the
15-year-old
game
can
is up.
definitely do that.
Word
That's
has
not
spread
hard.
that this isn't a real Twitter rep,
I knew
and
people in
nobody
school who
wants to
did this
buy
shit.
anymore because the chances of these names getting reset once the hacker is discovered is far too risky. The pair know this. Taking over so many high-profile accounts is going to draw attention. They don't have
And
law
some
on
15-year-olds
this
just
admin
have
account,
deeper
so
enough
unable
voices,
to profit from usernames.
I had a deep
what
voice
do they do
when I
now?
was 15. People thought I was like 30 when they heard me on the phone.
Basically, could have had every DM and every account.
My voice has changed a lot over the
Looking out,
years, though. I don't even sound like I do
so
when I was
intel
15.
to Russia. China.
But I had a really, really deep
What kind of
voice
intel
when
be
I was
exchanged
15.
via Twitter DMs?
They could have launched a nuclear
According
war.
to everyone around me,
Not
they thought I was
exactly, but
30.
They could have killed Apple stock and made a bet on it and made millions of dollars.
Not from appearance.
I think
just when hearing me.
we got lucky here.
Out of all of the things they could have done, they ran a doubling money scam.
To be fair, in their defense, the clock's winding down. They know that they're not going to have access much
So
longer.
go to the fog
You can't
wall.
really collect all of those DMs in time, right? And even if you could, what would you do with them? No one would believe them since you can easily fake DMs anyway. So you
Yeah,
can't really
sure.
sell the DMs. You
Yeah, you
can't
can fake 'em.
extort or blackmail with the DMs because you can easily just say it's fake because it's so commonplace. I really don't think there was a whole lot they could have done, to be honest, besides the doubling money.
You got to remember that this was
What the
back
fuck
in
else- what could they
2015
have
or whatever.
done?
People were a bit
Besides
more
this, as far as scamming
lackadaisical about
with
this
that
compared
access.
to now.
Probably find incriminating pictures. Yeah, but I just don't think anyone would be sending that over Twitter. And again, that's another thing that they just say is fake. A stock market scam? Yeah, I mean, every time Elon tweets, Tesla stock goes down, so I guess they could have done something
So,
like
bitch, I do remember fighting
that. I
him,
think
but I don't remember fighting
Stockman's the only
him
other
after
play.
killing with Hey, motherfucker.
There's a sub absolute zero in Migs.
I remember there being someone else here,
Biggest
too.
abuser.
When are they
Yeah,
coming
so
out?
I guess stock really is probably the optimal play. So that's really like a call.
Okay, bitch.
If it
Yeah, I
comes
knew
out-
it. I knew it. It's
If
another
it
one.
comes out they hacked
The
Twitter,
Crucible
it's hard
name.
to just say that's fake. Maybe,
I did not expect to be
I
fighting him already.
suppose, but then you still would take everything with a grain of salt. Just sell their information. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, they have no reason to believe the information is valid. It's Twitter DMs. Those are faked all the time. Easy tier 1 Kaiser.
Yeah,
I
they
think
weren't-
probably stocks
they didn't
would have been
care
the most
enough,
detrimental
I guess.
thing or impactful thing they could have done, like as far as a disaster goes. I lost 20K because of this. I hope
God,
you're
you're
gaming.
dumb.
Don't tell me you're one of those guys that's fucking sent Bitcoin to Elon Musk or Obama who said they were doubling your Bitcoin. Please don't tell me that, man. Thank you, Tier 1 A-Rod, Resub, Jealous, and Artago.
I would have expected this from an 11-year-old in 2008 on RuneScape, but not from these two.
Could have done anything, honestly, and you would have made more money. Just teenagers at the end of the day, so.
You know, from all of this, they only received $118,000 worth of crypto. I thought they would have been a lot more, but the big crypto exchanges pretty quickly put that address on their blacklist. Coinbase alone stopped an additional $280,000 from being sent. I think we're starting to get the picture here that these two were more savvy than smart.
Get back to the beat, ought to drop some bars. Got enough proof to put you behind bars.
Is that still from the original Minecraft diss track? It looks like at 19. They must have taken a picture of him back in like late middle school. They're not doing him justice here. They should have taken a cool photo of him. Like one where he's got like the hood up, hands in his pocket, looking down, and they did Kubrick stare. They're doing him dirty.
You're being very optimistic.
45 years? God damn, Mason.
Graham and his accomplice.
What the fuck is this?
This morning, Graham Ivan Clark. Case 20 CF 879.
So, just a couple days after his arrest, the case is already moving forward by means of this Zoom call with the judge and a couple of the attorneys.
Mr. Whitecross is Mr.
Backing me up still.
Representing.
I thought he'd be stunned at least.
And by now, we're gotten back to OG users, and they were freaking out. They thought their phone was going to get shut down. But one thing OG user members are known for is trolling, be it random people online, be it Zoom calls with judges. And so a bunch of them joined this posing as news agents.
I was just wondering if you're gonna take Updog into consideration the Graham case. I'm removing people as quickly as I can.
And it's like things are getting worse and worse. And then finally, someone
should really be like
take
this.
over the screen, and they start playing this pornography.
As was pointed out to the duty judge, we'll just reapply.
Don't stop the yard, dude.
Reapply to college.
You still hit me.
This just reminds me of Call of Duty lobbies. It's a stark reminder that
it sounds like Call of Duty lobbies.
They're teenagers. And for someone like Graham, they gave him second chances. They gave him opportunities to turn his life around and do the right thing. So what do you do with him now?
All new at 6, the Tampa teen accused of running a Twitter hack on some of the most famous people in our nation made his first appearance in court today. Hillsborough State Attorney Andrew Warren filing 30 felony charges against 17-year-old Clark.
Graham was being charged as an adult and faced up to 210 years in prison.
200?
His assets
Christ.
a hot topic.
Clark was the subject of an earlier investigation that ended in April, in which his defense attorney says he had around $3 million worth of Bitcoin. The FDLE alleges Clark used some of that money to set up infrastructure for this Twitter hack.
They put a $750,000 bond on Graham.
That is nothing to Graham.
Prosecutors requested that he be forced to prove any funds used to post bail were legitimately obtained. They didn't want him using that Bitcoin.
The judge granting that wish.
Graham ended up sitting in prison for 7.5 months before eventually entering into a plea deal.
And Mr. Clark, do you understand that those are the facts you're pleading guilty to?
Why did I do that? What the fuck?
Clark's 6 total years of punishment with a maximum allowed under Florida's youthful offender law. That youthful offender status is available only once in a person's life. It means Clark will be held in a juvenile facility, and he'll get education and transition services, which will prepare him for a productive life after he serves his time.
No, it won't. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't think these juvenile sinners do much of anything.
Yeah, they don't.
At all.
They don't.
But he went from 210 years down to 6.
There's quite a few.
So my man, even with his hand in the cookie jar, still came out with a dub. That's crazy. Wow. Thanks for the bits, DM, and the resub no clout.
And he knows if he violates his probation, he'll face a 10-year sentence in adult prison.
Some might say that Graham got off easy, especially when you consider he'll eventually be coming home to that 300 Bitcoin, which has appreciated astronomically in value. As of today, it's worth $12 million.
In this case, we've been able to achieve justice
I guess so.
and deliver those consequences while recognizing that anytime, whenever possible,
he one-shot me? What the fuck? I have full health.
Learn their lesson with without destroying their future.
I do need to level up.
There's this idea that one's on.
What do you mean? This guy spent from the time he was 13 to the time he was 17, spent his entire life scamming and hacking shit, and then was involved in an armed robbery that ended in 2 people getting shot and one of them killed. What are you talking about?
Damn. Oh yeah, he did do that.
And you still got fucking slapped by him. My man is going home to a huge payday because that Bitcoin is just going up and up.
Yeah. He'll be all right.
I don't know who that guy is in the suit, but that guy's a goddamn fool. He's an idiot. Graham is set for life off just the Bitcoin sitting in his home.
Online identity
well worth it for him, I guess.
Yeah. Broad because with a level of anonymity, you lose the barriers of social mores, constructs, and trepidations. And so one can act more in accordance with their true self, do what they might otherwise not.
It was more about, I was more concerned about the just loss of identity.
And so it makes it very easy for someone with a low moral compass to commit these kinds of attacks on the foundation of the internet. Especially kids, because their morals are undeveloped. Especially when they get involved with groups like the ones Graham found himself in. I found many of these groups will treat their fraud like some sort of legitimate business. They're boasting about it and they receive praise from other scammers.
Like,
and so it creates this social group where everybody
people who run the country are like,
doing, and I think
they're not
a menace to society.
Robbery.
And in fact, even like they're achieving something, having a friend group doing the same thing normalizes it. And I think that is a very dangerous situation to find yourself in, especially if you're someone who's a recluse.
They just figured out how
you don't
the
have
game
any
works.
friends in real life.
Graham wasn't a recluse. It looked like he went out all the time.
Social group.
They probably have
How
parents
are you
who are
going
like
to get out of that?
in positions of like power or authority as well.
Almost
They
like an
learn from
addiction
them.
for them. They just keep making money to the point where they don't
Yeah,
care
you can do
anymore.
crime and be successful at it.
And no one online has empathy.
That's how we made our
For the
money.
majority, everyone's a sociopath.
To scam is to not.
I may have
White
missed it.
collar
Can someone
crimes,
tell me who are those two like
to get away with.
cyberheads?
Easy to get away with, at least
Are
for
they
us.
people that knew Graham and like were accomplices or worked with him at some degree, at some level?
Although he did do a robbery, which is not so white collar, but still, no big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Like an armed robbery.
Right, yeah. I was just wondering because I don't remember him
That's what the
explaining who they were.
US
They just
military
kinda
does
fucking
anyway.
popped out of nowhere.
It just
not
depends
add
on
any
who's
value
doing
to
it.
society,
That's all
which
that matters.
is a real problem when it comes to sustainability.
It's only a
For the
bad robbery.
narcissist, maybe the convincing argument is, if you want long-term profitability, being destructive is not the way to achieve that. Instead, focus
Maybe they
on
did
creating
take the
something that
deal.
provides
Maybe they
value,
took the
something you can share
deal from
outside
the
of that
big
friend
club
group,
or
something
someone
that
from
doesn't
the-
hurt
from the
your
club.
fellow
Thank you,
humans.
Cubone, for saying
Because he's going home to a nice payday.
Since I was a kid, I've always been like since I was like 10 years old. I just always was into money, so I've always started making money. I got into social media. I made like a few $100,000, and then I started getting into like cryptocurrency and trading, and then it got into millions. So I didn't plan on none of that.
You little motherfucker.
That was the 13-year-old or 15-year-old, right? The accomplice.
Get the fuck out of here.
What a wild video. Good shit, Crumb. God damn. I had no idea the lore went that deep. Went that hard. That's wild. Thanks to give sub humongous in the Prime Caroline in 3-4.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Thanks to the bitch
Do
Alien
something.
and Kirk. Not tonight. I already have the ones that I want to watch tonight, Alien. I've already got them all queued up here. Thanks to the resub Corgi. The other
Oh,
kid was
shit, I
9.
dodged.
No, he said
Shut
he was either 13 or 15. I'm forgetting now. Thanks to the resub Laura.
Now you're acting.
And there's Prime Kelsar. 50, it was 15? Okay. Thanks to resub Spade and the Prime Smithy.
Should probably put on that other talisman.
That's literally what's going to happen to kids who hacked NVIDIA. What? I don't know that one. NVIDIA got hacked?
I don't think NVIDIA's going to do that. They're not going to do much.
March 23rd. Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Ubisoft hacked by suspected teens.
And that's probably a cover story for someone else anyway.
Bloomberg says the mastermind behind the recent attack is a 16-year-old living at his mother's house.
Probably the military or something for all we know.
Fusion.
It's just a nice little cover story.
Nick, Megisub, Kaiser, and Tier 1 MWP. The kids are doing this shit at 15. Imagine what they'll do at 30. Well, if history's taught us anything, they're peaking right now.
Yeah,
look at someone like
they're at peak level.
Oh, we watched a whole video on him. The hacker in the early 2000s, they had like a whole movement saying free hacker. What was his name? It was a big thing. I don't remember exactly what he hacked, but it was a big deal. He was like one of the most prolific ones. Was it Kevin?
Oh shit.
That sounds super familiar.
Stove.
Yeah, I think that's
your tail swipe. I know you want to do it. Shut up.
Kevin something. Kevin Mitnick? Was that it? I don't remember. Let me see.
Your tail? You ain't gonna do it? You don't want to do it?
Oh, this might be him. The American computer security consultant now. And he was a convicted hacker, best known for his high-profile 1995 arrest and 5 years in prison. That's what I was thinking of.
That's a while ago.
So he made a huge splash, did some crazy shit, went to jail, got out of jail, and I don't think he's done much since. But then I think he just got like a real job.
I was not expecting this boss fight.
He was like reformed.
Glad I got it. Ruins, great sword, huh? I don't even remember that fucking weapon. Wait, is that like the weapon from the prior games? Yeah, there was a weapon in the prior games called a ruined sword.
Tier 1 Dicky in the prime.
It might
Bronze, Immortal, Heartsome in the recent. Hey man. Next to the bits user. Yeah man. Hasn't gotten caught since lol. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe Kevin's behind this whole thing. Like he set Graham up.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Just give me a second.
That's a possibility.
We'll check out the next one. We'll stay with scams. We'll do the CoffeeZilla one here, and then we'll go to the Sky Does Minecraft disgusting shit.
What section of the great swords are up here? I can't use any of the great swords. I have no stats for them. I need strength to use these, and I don't have strength. I probably will level strength a little bit. Yeah, 20 for this one.
Oki wanted me to watch this tonight, and I was gonna watch it on my own, but he asked if
King
I would
of Stolen
stream
Valor.
it, so I'm gonna watch this tonight.
The King of Stolen Valor is what this is
and
called.
then after that, I'll probably dust off the 360 and try and set that up for some Halo 2 Classic last.
I was in the military for a bit,
so I think that's gonna be the plan.
Maybe this will look familiar. I don't know.
So I don't know anything about Jack Edema. Is that how you say it? Edema? So this will be like brand new for me. One of the few times I have no clue who this is about.
I put my cookies up. I can't eat all these. Put these away for later.
Is there some dazzling?
Afghanistan. Someone lying about being there.
A court in Afghanistan convicted 3 Americans of torturing Afghans in an illegal private prison. The alleged ringleader of the operation is a former Green Beret named Jonathan Edema, his nickname Jack.
Shit. Those shades.
Meet Jack. This is Jack in Afghanistan holding an AK-47 and riding on the back of a horse.
That's Steven Seagal.
Here he is on the night of his wedding, flanked by 2 security guards with his bride in his lap.
That guy looks so close to Jason Statham, it's unreal. He's just a little too tall.
His wedding took place at his Arabian-style house in Mexico, which was inexplicably located right next to a traditional-style Japanese home. To say that Jonathan Keith Idema, aka Jack, was a bizarre eccentric would be an understatement. Over the course of this tale, you'll come to understand exactly what I mean. But first, let's go back to Jack riding on a horse in Afghanistan. This footage was taken in the early 2000s, only a few years into the war in Afghanistan.
He looks so majestic.
Jack was not there as an active duty soldier. He was not a private military contractor. Instead, he was a 45-year-old ex-con that entered Afghanistan after...
Oh, it's this weapon. This is a weapon I was wanting to use, actually. How much strength do I need for this? God damn it. I need 50 strength. God damn, dude. Why so high? I gotta be a straight up strength build to use this. But it has like the gravity wave attack. That shit's sick. That's a cool move. Raises, yeah. Originally rubble from a ruin which fell from the sky. Oh, it fell from the farm Azula. This surviving fragment was honed into a weapon. One of the legendary armaments. The ruin it came from crumbled when struck by a meteorite. As such, this weapon harbors a destructive power. Yeah, it has meteorite power. It has gravity powers. I do want to use this, but fuck if it isn't heavy and requires a lot of strength. Alright. Guess we just won't be using that. I could use this. If I level my strength up just 2 points, I can use this. This is a magical sword, too. I mean, it scales with magic. It's an int weapon. Scales with strength, dex, and int. So that would be good to use. But I want to be like a light build, a ninja build, really. So we're going to be using mostly ninja-esque light weapons, dex-based weapons. Like pole arms, katanas, curved swords, stuff like that. Daggers. Rapiers, too. Great rapiers as well. This game has great rapiers, at least one. This was actually a good weapon. It kind of fucked for a bit at the beginning of the game. I might level it up some more later if I don't find a better one. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot to read the details around this sword. Katana Forest of Glintstone, masterpiece of a Salian swordsmith. Okay, from Salia Town. We know where that is. Light enwreaths the blade when sheathed, expanding its Moonville moniker. Yes. It's a literal lightsaber. And what's the tail up behind this one? I think this blade is made from straight up meteorite. And that's why it has gravity power. Forged from the meteorite, or yeah, that's what it says it right there. To dispatch life forms born of falling stars. Oh, they're weak to this? So like if I fight the falling star beast, it'll be weak to this shit? Well, that's good. The blade deals magic damage. Yeah, of course, it scales with intelligence. So that's why. The blade is weighty, known to deliver slashes of such ferocity that the impact is said to resemble the crash of a falling meteor. Yeah, it does hit hard, that's for sure. It did me well in that boss fight. Okay. Let's go see what we can do. I don't know why my level 1 didn't encounter any of this. Like, I came here on my level 1 and none of this happened. So I forgot what triggers this shit and how you cancel it. Anyway, let's listen to more of this crap while I do some shit.
9/11, with the goal of collecting the $25 million reward on Osama bin Laden's head.
Wait, was that a real thing? Did we put a $25 million bounty on Osama bin Laden?
There were bounties, yeah.
Hey, you hear?
He used to work for the CIA, though. So he was just a
We actually did. Man, I don't remember that shit at all. What a fucking crazy time to be alive. What? Damn. Alright, so Jack was out there on that Sigma grind set, about to execute a man for a payday. The FBI most wanted. I didn't know they actually put like bounties on him, though. Only 25 mil? I don't know, man. That's a pretty good bargain. That's enough to get a lot of people excited. Like, shit, Osama's dead, but I'm still considering it. I mean, and it got Jack's attention. Thanks, you're so pointless and brave. My dad was thinking about going over there for real. Maybe if you did, you'd be $25 million richer, man.
And he wants, go over there, moron. Good fucking luck.
The fact that he was a civilian did nothing to stop him from traveling to a war-torn country and making a chaotic situation even more screwed.
Now he's got his RPG.
Back there! Tell that guy, what's he? Stop that car! No, but put your fucking hands up! I'll blow your fucking brains out!
Jesus
In Afghanistan, Jack managed to trick the U.S. government, Afghan officials, and the media into believing that he was an active-duty Special Forces operative working on behalf of the Pentagon.
Kill as many Taliban and Al-Qaeda as you can, and try to take Kabul in 6 months. Well, in 62 days, Kabul was free.
I want to press how insane this situation was. Jack just rolled into a war-torn country pretending to be an active-duty Green Beret, and did it so well that NATO coalition forces helped him apprehend.
I feel like it can't be that hard to blend in like that, though. Especially back then, they're not going to be background checking everyone. He just shows up like, hey, I'm here to help fight. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know if you question him. Like, yeah, I'm a Green Beret. Like,
I don't really want to watch this.
I haven't seen you before, but alright. You're here anyway.
It's just going to make me mad more than it is. It's more than that. More than that is just that it's cringe. It's going to make me mad is what I really wanted to say. So I'm not going to watch this. I'm going to start going into topics that I don't really want to talk about. Alright, let's get off of that shit. Oh, it's showing me. Skibbity Riz. This is some Zoomer shit. Okay. Cosplay World? Oh, yeah, it's Yellows. I know him. The Top G. The Fall of Andy. I don't want to watch that. Who cares? Who cares about Andy Tate? He's not that big a deal. He seems like a glowy anyway. I mean, his dad was. He said that. He admitted that. But the whole controversy with Andy Tate just seemed like some orchestrated nonsense from some glowies. Like the CIA, basically, the feds. Some Mockingbird creation, it looks like to me. They always put out. They always want to distract the public with some celebrity or some fucking fake creation. Like a figure like this. And they created for social media. So, like, I never take any of these sensations seriously. I'm always suspicious of anything that gains some quick popularity or attention out of nowhere. It all looks phony to me. Non-Euclidean horror. Rayman. Rayman is horrific now. But that's all that is. It's just, things with space between them. Oh, well, that's not new. Femcells? I don't know. This is a short video. Let's see what Femcells is about. It's only 4 minutes.
What a beautiful morning. I can't wait to see what the day will bring. A hot bath, a well-rounded breakfast, mostly oatmeal, without sugar. I'm counting all my calories.
This is the first time I've ever been asked about EG coming here. Why am I being asked about EG? EG is the blacksmith troll, the giant troll who's a blacksmith, and he also he works with Randy. Why are you asking me about EG?
Well, I haven't heard that name in an age. Then you must serve Princess Rani. The next time you speak to EG, tell him this. The Festival of Radon will surely set Rani's fate back into motion.
Oh, they straight up tell you.
Is that old fool still hammering out weapons?
Yeah.
His enormous frame cramped in that little place. Bit of a haughty sort. Strange fella when I knew him. And funny thing, his swords were all blunt as stone.
Well, he kind of sucks then, huh?
Decayed when faced with the Scarlet Rot.
So he makes blunt weapons. But it's not very promising. But he says they don't break, at least. So I guess he'd be better at making like hammer weapons or something, not swords. Okay. I'll just take the hammer shit and the maces to him. So I never got this dialogue before in any playthrough. This is surprising. I'm always discovering new shit on every time I go through a section or a redo. And I've talked to this guy multiple times on other files. Like, I've never gotten this exchange. Huh. All right. And they straight up tell you that, like I've heard the lore videos. They say, well, you got to fight Radahn, and so that Randy's fate can happen. But I never heard that in game. I always just thought this is the theory people had. But no, he just straight up tells you that right here. So yeah, that you got to fight Radahn to put her fate back in motion. Because people's fate is attached to stars in this game. Mikula's fate is also attached to stars. Like, there's like a fragment of it you can get later. I know that much. It's like fate is like a tangible thing here. That the greater will and other outer gods can influence and make tangible. But anyway, let's listen to this crap right quick. This video.
What a beautiful morning. I can't wait to see what the day will bring. A hot bath, a well-rounded breakfast, mostly oatmeal. Without sugar, I'm counting all my calories. I text all my friends what they will be wearing today. We do this so we don't copy our outfits. That would be awkward. My friends and I walk through the school hallway to assert our dominance and show the plebs how cool we are.
Yep, that's me. Wait, to the left. More to the left.
Oh.
I wish.
She's not in the cool club.
Yep, that's me. You probably don't care how I got here, but that's fine. No one though.
Sorry. Check this out.
Guys aren't as gentle with me as they are with other girls.
What are you guys doing?
Can't you see? Pat it.
Hey, Julian, what are you doing after school?
What day is it today?
Tuesday?
Then probably back and legs.
Wouldn't you like to hang out with us?
I don't know. What about Tommy?
Who?
Is it because of the smell? I wish I could do that. Just go up to someone and just casually talk. But oh well.
I guess I gotta refresh.
It's a bit too late for that now. Not that I don't have friends. I have some. Too bad they are boring and don't bring any guys along.
Oh.
Yeah, we know Susie. You're
That's
cool.
the only reason to have
Susie.
friends, so they can
I
get
wonder if you would be as
dates.
cool and confident
That's
if you
right.
lost your tits. I wonder what they feel like. Am I the only one getting aggro about this? I'm not saying I want a hot, skinny supermodel with blue eyes, dark hair, and a small, firm. We know Susie. You're cool, Susie. I wonder if you would be as cool and confident if you lost your tits. I wonder what they feel like. Am I the only one getting aggro about this? I'm not saying I want a hot, skinny supermodel with blue eyes, dark hair, and a small, firm butt. That would be nice, of course. But a normal guy would be enough. But he shouldn't be a weirdo either. I would be happy with a normal, well-adjusted man. Although nowadays a normal guy thinks it's normal to finish on a girl's face. This school sucks.
You're not a femcel then. You're not a femcel. You're having sex. You're getting guys that'll finish on your face. You just don't like the way they're having sex with you. But you're not a femcel. If you're still engaging in sex. I don't get it. Are you sure?
これからあなたの人生 WA
She's
変わり
watching
ます。
anime.
I'm ready.
家族や偉人のことを忘れなければなりません。
Doesn't matter. Hit me with that good stuff.
She wants okay. She's trying to live vicariously through the anime, and she wants that to happen in the real world. This is like she's watching Twilight, the anime version.
Yes. Damn it. Dad? Dad, where are the batteries? Dad? Dad, Where are you?
You're 30. Your dad doesn't live here. You live alone. With a bunch of cats.
Oh, I can explain.
Who's this?
The batteries are in the lower drawer in the kitchen.
Dad.
Air out the place from time to time, okay?
Why am I such a dumbass? No one wrote.
This is why you're a femso. Because you're dumb.
No one. Is that good? Is it bad? Zero experience. Zero adventures.
What was
zero
she
life.
looking at?
Supposedly
What
girls
the fuck
have
was
it
that?
easier. Is it my fault? I don't know anymore.
That's what is that? The Chud Wojak? I see that a lot on social media. People call it the Chud or something. What is this? What was she looking
Is it
at?
bad?
I'm paying attention
Zero
to this
experience. Zero adventures. Zero life. Supposedly girls have it easier. Is it my fault? I don't know anymore. Once I got a friend. She got drunk and told me I looked like some actress. I didn't know who she was talking about. I had to Google her later, and she didn't look...
Wait a minute. I skipped something.
Time to time.
What was she looking at?
No one wrote.
Duolicious? Is this like a dating app? What is this crap? Yeah, it's a dating app, I guess. I don't know. It's some social media. It's a Pepe frog. Yeah, date the Pepe. Oh, a Nazi, literally, but he's brown. That's ironic, I guess. Yeah. You do got some people who just hate themselves and they're Nazis. I've met plenty of them in real life, too. Not just in social media. Yeah, they're brown, but they hate other black people and brown people. It's fucked up.
No one. Is that good? Is it bad? Zero experience. Zero adventures. Zero life. Supposedly...
No. When you talk about zero experience and zero adventures, you're talking about your life's not like that anime you're watching. Well, that's not real life. That's not the same. That doesn't mean you don't like. You got to stop trying to make your life like an anime. I mean, you can make it exciting. But it's just not going to be like fantasy. So, real life can be exciting too. You don't have to hate real life just because it's not like fantasy.
Girls have it easier. Is it my fault? I don't know anymore. Once I got a friend. She got drunk and told me I looked like some actress. I didn't know who she was talking about. I had to Google her later and she didn't look too good. But I think it was a compliment, so. I remember she wanted to kiss me, but my autism wouldn't let me.
Oh, God.
They say girls taste the same when you close your eyes.
We are not the same. A man has to have something going in their life, have money, status. A woman just has to look good.
And what if a girl is ugly? I've seen a lot of busted-looking hoes around here.
It doesn't matter. Any woman can spread her legs, and the
I mean, there's plenty of ugly, desperate guys. They just don't want them, though, sometimes. Like she said she wanted a tall, skinny guy. So clearly she doesn't want the normal guys. She wants the anime guys. So she's one of them. I mean, that might be a stereotype to some people. Yeah, that's all women want. She's fulfilling the stereotype. Look at what she wants. She wants the anime guy. You sure? Does he know this femcel in real life? She's still in high school. She hasn't even bloomed yet. Like, they were in high school. So she'll, like, you know, come out of her shell in due time. And she said she was getting dates anyway. Like, she had guys finishing on her face. She's not a femcel, if anything. So this is an inaccurate title. Let's see what the comments say. I'm sure she'll find a nice guy in due time. If she wants a nice guy. She just wants someone who's exciting, though. She didn't necessarily say a nice guy. That could be any type of man. There was a subreddit called Forever Alone Women, and they had to make it private because too many men were asking them out. Well, then, yeah, they wouldn't be femcells for long. They're not alone for long, then, are they? So it's private. Okay. Says she wants a normal guy, but what she really wants is Koji. I mean, yeah, that's what she was looking at. Coco Melon for 20-year-olds. What is Coco Melon again? Is that an anime? I forgot what it is. I'll look it up later. It might be a porn or some shit. I was gonna search for it, but yeah, it might be like some porn. And I don't want to accidentally show that shit. And he turned himself into a pickle. What? Oh, I see. Some Pickle Rick shit going on? Yeah, her dad. Yeah. I can relate to her so deeply. For many years, I was so desperate. I lived through my online games and had an in-game boyfriend. And yes, you guessed right. Overweight, bad hygiene, never did sports, depressed, and escapism tendencies. But since last year, I started to work out, take better care of myself, or my hygiene. Lost a lot of weight, and just last week I deleted all games. And you deleted all of them? You didn't have to delete all of them. Save some. It is a very slow process, but it is working. And hopefully that works out for you. If you feel better. I have a 12-year-old autistic daughter, and I can tell you for the most part this is accurate. Well, she's only 12. She shouldn't be dating or having sex anyway. She should be a femcel. She's only 12. As her dad, I can't protect her from her internal monologue, but I do everything in my power to prop her up, encourage her self-confidence and assertiveness. But I'm one voice from all the others saying the opposite thing. Considering I'm also autistic, it pains me deeply to see her suffering the same way I did. Aw. Hopefully she'll be alright. I mean, he turned out alright, I guess. I mean, he's raising a child. So she'll be okay. I've known some femcels, and even they had standards that I couldn't measure up to. I've known some real in life femcel. They complain a lot on they really don't. They didn't have any filter. They didn't hide anything online. They tell everybody that they have not had sex for 8 years and shit like that. Like, okay, that's kind of sad. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Cause like, I don't know. Cause you could be okay with that. You don't have to like be someone who just constantly, having partners. You can be okay still, I guess. But yeah, they were complaining about it. They said they're too afraid to talk to men. So this I've known. Yeah, this is a thing. So. But this woman, it seems like she was not a real femcel. She was having sex. The woman in this video. Then you gotta wonder, like, I've had femcels that I've known who had a crush on me. So yeah, that's how I know. But anyway, yeah, they were too afraid to ask me out. But they dated a stripper, so I wonder if they were lying or not. But then they'd be on social media, they weren't even talking to me. And they'd say, oh man, I haven't had sex for like 8 years. But you used to date a stripper. So. I don't know. Are you really nervous about talking to men? You dated someone like that? I don't know. Some people are just weird. The fact that we have women that hate men, and we have men who hate women, is a growing concern. Yeah, I think it's a lot of artificial type of divide and conquer going on. Like a lot of our people in positions of power like having this fight amongst each other. It's some artificial shit. And then you got people who just like, there's some real memorandum 200 thinking type of people, and that ties into that type of agenda. If you look that up, you'll know what that's about. Anyway, let me continue this game. It's almost... Yeah, we'll go till 3:30. Then I'll end it. And I knew this one woman who was like a femcel, but then she'd call me every day, but she would never ask me out. And she used to date a stripper though, and I guess the stripper just really fucked her up, and that's why she became a femcel. She was expecting me to ask her out, I guess, but like, nah. Whenever I would ask her to do anything, she'd be weird. So, but she'd still call me. So I don't know. She'd be like, she'd pretend like she's too scared to do anything whenever I'd ask her to come do something. So I don't know what her deal was. She's just really awkward. I think the stripper just fucked her up that she was dating. When was Palestine founded? No, we're not watching that. We know when it was founded. But some people don't want to, you know what's going on over there. Ugly guy on the button. Oh no, this is old. We watched that already years ago. Well, a year ago. No, I don't want to watch any Elden Ring spoilers. Wait a minute. Oh, this is Quaylag. Yeah, we watched this already. That's old. From weeks ago. The Creation Club, yeah, the Creation Club's always been a scam ever since Fallout 4. Why does this guy keep embarrassing himself, man? Why, dude? Stop it. It's embarrassing. I don't even want to watch that. It's just going to make me mad. Right. I'm just finding something to stall with until I wanted to fight Radon tonight, but they wouldn't let me. But we're going to go somewhere else before I get off. Mina the Hollower? Oh, I know that game. I played the demo of it like years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Wukong trailer was good. Whoa. Oh, Baki the Grappler. That fight was actually good. I read the manga version of it, but they animated it finally. No, that's politics. We're not doing that tonight. No. Well, let's watch this, I guess.
Hey guys, I know this is a little different from the usual content I do. Don't worry, that will be back. Anyway, on with the video. Warning, spoilers for a 13-year-old game. So, a few months ago, I was really itching to get a new game. What I really wanted to get was Elden Ring.
Elden Ring is good. I do recommend it. So.
But since I don't have a machine that would run that game, I got the closest thing to that I could.
Really?
That being Dark Souls 1 Remastered. That's gaming on a budget for you.
Can't run Elden Ring, my dude. We gotta hook you up. Hopefully you get successful on this YouTube grind.
Anyway, prior to this point, I had never played any of the Dark Souls games, and apart from maybe Hollow Knight, I hadn't played anything with Souls-like design principles. So this was an interesting experience to say the least. Without further ado, this is what Dark Souls is like for an average gamer. If there's one thing that people say about Dark Souls, it's that you either have to be incredibly skilled or incredibly masochistic to play it. Anyone who's played it will tell you that Dark Souls is ridiculously hard, and ridiculously hard was what I was prepared for going in. And yeah, it's pretty hard. Dark Souls might be the hardest game I've ever played. However, having now played it and beat it, I don't think that Dark Souls is as hard as people say.
Yeah, you fell for a meme. It's like a meme, really.
But it isn't nearly as much of a freakish nightmare as it's hyped up to be. And I say that as someone who considers himself to be a casual gamer.
Just level
I
up.
might be
Dark
in the
Souls,
upper ranks of that category, but I still think I'm within that category. I don't know. Skill is on a spectrum, so categorizing is kind of weird. Anyway, you'll notice throughout this video that a lot of the footage I have included is of me dying. So, yeah, the game's hard. Hard as rocks. Boulders, even. But through my entire playthrough, I was preparing myself for some crazy difficulty spike whenever I reached the hard part of the game, whenever that would be. But that difficulty spike never came. Dark Souls is well within the realm of beatable by a normal person. It's not stupid hard. It's not set at some ridiculous level of difficulty where only the gamer elite can overcome it.
Memes.
The truth is that Dark Souls is a punishing and difficult game, and a large chunk of players do not enjoy the experience that this design results in. But I think that anyone with some persistence and willingness to learn can beat Dark Souls if
He's
they
coming
want
at the game after everything.
Or alternatively, maybe I'm just absolutely cracked at this game off the start. Moving on from general difficulty discourse,
he's mixing in a bunch of memes with how people.
Dark Souls is a
along
game
with how
that
people
pranks
also
and trolls
felt
its players to a degree that I have never seen in another game. And that can be an okay thing or a very bad thing depending on the kind of player. There's a lot of traps and surprise attacks that a certain brand of gamer might find distasteful. If you've never played this game,
you've probably played a lot of games that were inspired by
outright pranked by the game over and over.
That he doesn't realize.
This game's got falling barrels and boulders, wonky platforming, invisible bridges, enemies hiding in crates, enemies hiding behind doors, enemies hiding behind corners, NPCs that betray you without a second thought, jump scare boss fights that just about come out of nowhere, a convoluted world design with no map anywhere, which leads to you easily wandering into areas where you are in a prime condition to lose all of your ethereal currency, bloody mimics, and curses that reduce your max hit points by half even after you die and respawn. I was crossing this bridge in one of the early areas, and out of nowhere comes this dragon that one-shotted me with fire breath, and there was virtually no way to see it coming. Now, that didn't bother me at all, because it only happened the first time I reached that bridge, and after that I could see it coming. But even if it happened repeatedly, I'd just know to not try using that bridge right now. But some people are going to get tilted at that kind of game design. My thought is, because I've been tricked once in a situation, I generally probably won't get tricked again in the same place.
Well, yeah, no one fell for that again.
As long as you live by the philosophy of, if you haven't seen an enemy in 30 seconds, something bad is probably about to happen. It's not so bad when these kinds of things happen, because at least you can predict that they're coming. And sometimes it's even funny. Sometimes being the operative word. You know, just kind of accept the fact that the game's going to screw with you a little bit. Or a lot bit when it's feeling like it. There were really only 2 times that I actually got frustrated with the game's punishing philosophy. The first time has to do with one of the save spots called Firelink Shrine, which becomes unavailable at a certain point in the game because this random punk stops by and kills the Firekeeper bear. Like, come on, man. Firelink Shrine is a central save point in the world. Not to mention that means that you can't use that Firekeeper anymore to upgrade your Estus Flask, which is the game's primary healing mechanic, and I hadn't gotten to upgrading that at all yet. On top of that, it's just a really nice spot. It's got the music and the ruins and the weird NPCs, and now I couldn't use it anymore and it sucked. Luckily, you can eventually revive the Firekeeper and restart this fire, But not until
I
the
always
mid-game
kill
when you reach Anor Londo and hunt down the idiot punk who killed the Firekeeper in the first place.
I always killed him.
So you have to go without this bonfire for quite a while. The other time I was mad with the game's mechanics was with this section of invisible walkways. I shouldn't have to explain my issue with that.
So
the
that's the reason
misconception with Dark Souls difficulty is, though, I think, the difficulty of bosses. The common wisdom is that the Dark Souls bosses are all massive pains that will kill you dozens of times. And yeah, you'll come across a few that are like that, but not every boss is such a pain in the butt. A lot of them really aren't that bad. Now, different people are going to have a harder time with different bosses.
Did he do the DLC?
But for me, the Asylum Fatty, this weird dragon thing, and the messed up spider lady each only took me 3 tries. The Capra, the Four Kings, and the final boss each only took me 2 tries. And I beat Lava Boy, Pinwheel, Bone Boy, and these gargoyles all in my first attempts. And no, as you can see, I'm not typically using summons, and I'm not using a mage build, which is kind of a hidden easy mode for Dark Souls.
Yeah, that's easy mode.
So not every Dark Souls boss is crazy hard. There are some that are really nasty, like this pair of scumbags called Ornstein and Smo, or this curse-inducing dragon that is way nastier and remastered for some reason. But there's also a lot of bosses that are very manageable, even for new players like myself.
Yeah,
and even if some of the bosses are absolute butts, I don't think that any of the bosses killed me as many times as those 2 stupid Anor Londo archers did on this rail. These 2 legends are the true final boss of Dark Souls, and you can't convince me otherwise. Another thing that you should know,
the archers
if
are
perchance
also,
you haven't played this dumb game, is that you'll probably need to look up some stuff on account of the menus and mechanics not being super well explained, but you definitely don't need a guide. When you boot up the game and there's no map, no quest list, and no markers telling you where to go, it can be easy to think that Dark Souls requires a guide if you want to play through it in any reasonable amount of time. I personally did not find this to be the case, and that may not be the same for everybody, but I didn't have a lot of difficulty navigating this game. I had to occasionally look something up, but it was just that, occasional. If you're someone who, like myself, finds that using guides saps the fun out of the game, or alternatively just finds guides to be distasteful,
I didn't know you could access this already.
While you might miss out on a couple of things if you play Dark Souls without a guide, the game is still totally playable without it. Dark Souls is also sort of non-linear, although I'm not sure if it adheres to that closely enough to call Dark Souls an open world game. Most of the time you have at least a couple of different challenges that you can try and tackle. The quests bottleneck at a couple of places, forcing you to accomplish specific quests before continuing, but for the most part, you usually have multiple options.
True.
This
you have
is
so many
a huge
options.
benefit on account
That's why
of
it's
the
not
game's
hard.
difficulty. If you ever get stuck, you could just try over and over again until you eventually succeed after dozens of attempts, and you could grind for hours to gain several levels and tilt the challenge in your favor. But you could also just go somewhere else, where there are other enemies and bosses to fight. Maybe those will prove early.
It's good to have options.
And when you eventually come back to the initial challenge that was besting you, you'll be coming in with more experience under your belt,
I had no idea this
state of
was
mind,
here.
and probably a stronger character with either a higher level or better gear, or quite likely both. This, I think, is another thing that makes Dark Souls approachable for a wider variety of players than just the gamer elite. Alright, I've ranted on about Dark Souls' difficulty, but now for the more important question. Is Dark Souls fun?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Dark
That goes
Souls'
without
main
saying.
type of fun is satisfaction. The difficulty of the game makes succeeding at any given challenge drastically more satisfying than it would be otherwise. There is
Agreed.
something innately fulfilling about mastering a system, and Dark Souls basically forces you to do that. Dark Souls is probably the quintessential example of why sometimes the simple difficulty is a good thing for a video game. This feeling, the experience of mastering the game's mechanics, is what makes it fun, and that experience would be
This is
cheap
not
if
what
it
I was
were any
expecting to come
easier.
to.
To put it in a concise sentence,
But I'm glad I
getting
found
good
it.
is fun.
I didn't know this
Just
was
a side
here.
note as well. You
Did
might
I come
notice
here
that in
before?
most of my footage, there is little to no blood flying on the
I didn't think
hits.
I'd have access to this
That's
yet
because you can
until
turn most of it
the
off
meteor
in game
shower.
settings. If you're someone
But I
who
guess
is
I was
looking for a
wrong.
real challenge but isn't all about that blood and gore,
Because I
you
know
can
I
absolutely
came
turn
down
it
to a tunnel with a bunch of
Anyway,
ants
on with the
before.
script. Okay, I've
And it was
ranted about the
underground,
game
but like I thought
difficulty
that
and
was after
design
the
principles
meteor
long
shower.
enough. Let's talk about how the game
I didn't know
looks
you
and
could come
feels.
here before that.
The atmosphere in this game is palpable. The environment is harsh and unforgiving, and that aesthetic is enforced through the challenging gameplay. It's a great example of how narrative and mechanics can complement each other. The story itself is vague and largely opt-in. If you don't care about the plot, that's fine. It is in no way integral to the core gameplay. For those who want it, however, there is a great trove of assorted lore to be acquired from NPC dialogue and item descriptions. The core story is pretty simple, and perhaps a bit dark.
Like the story with Artorias,
Dark Souls.
That's one of my favorite characters in the series.
To their taste. I'm kind of neutral on dark fantasy myself, because some dark fantasy is dark, but it can then use its grim tone to support a story or theme. But then some other dark fantasy is just dark for the sake of being dark. I think this game, Dark Souls, falls somewhere in the middle between those two extremes. The plot is rather nihilistic, but it's also enjoyable in its own way. The game's
it's not really nihilistic.
Are occasionally
I don't agree with that
provoking, and many of the characters are interesting and likable.
It's morbid and kind of somber, but not nihilistic.
Endings to Dark Souls, but at first glance it seems like it doesn't matter which one you choose. In the first ending, you're putting off the inevitable coming of a darker age, and in the other ending, you just let that darker age arrive. The darkness comes eventually anyway, so you could argue that it's better to just let it happen and be done with this cycle of staving it off. On the other hand, there is definitely virtue in preserving things that matter, even if those things can't last forever. It is implied that there may be some good reasons for the Age of Darkness to come, since the preservation of light is artificial. But it's up to the player to decide which course of action you think is
natural.
most fit.
It's like
However,
it doesn't last forever.
Note of sorts,
there's a
not
cycle
input
to it.
necessary
Dark Souls
to trigger
3
the
we learned
second
it's a
ending.
cycle.
If you're curious and you walk down the wrong pathway after defeating the final boss, which is what I did, you'll inadvertently accidentally trigger ending 2, which means that if you wanted to get the classic ending, you'll need to play through the entire game again. You do keep all of your health and upgrades if you play on the same save file, but the difficulty also goes up with the enemies scaling to have more health and damage. So I couldn't tell you if it's a faster or shorter playthrough than the initial one, because I haven't played through it a second time yet, and I don't know if I will. My last complaint with the game is not one that is applicable to a large percentage of players, and this may come off as weird, but I don't care. I'm leaving it in anyway. I'm a Christian guy, and as such, there are a couple of NPCs and one
I don't think this game kind of
shall we say, distastefully immodest characters.
I don't think it like
the one boss that was like this was one of just 2 places.
You can be a Christian and like the game. I'm not a Christian anymore, but
number of attempts possible.
I wouldn't like be averse to playing this if I was still Christian.
Between in Dark Souls, I think there's only 3 of them in the game, and you don't have to interact with any of them more than once. But to the small demographic of my viewers who are fellow believers or who hold some conviction regarding this kind of thing, you should be aware that there is some of that stuff sparsely scattered into the game. Overall, I give Dark Souls a 6 out of 10.
I mean,
I don't think that I can recommend it for most people.
Like Gwen's not even like a
play through it again on a
he's not like the Judeo-Christian type god anyway.
And if I had a machine that would run Dark Souls 3 and such, I'd probably try those out at some point as well.
Greek-esque
really Arthurian,
Dark Souls, well, not Arthurian,
probably can, regardless of your current gaming skill.
With the Arthurian
but
type
it is really
aesthetic.
hard, and it takes a
but
lot
he's
of
also
effort and a
based
lot
on
of losing.
Shinto.
And that experience definitely is
the gods in Dark Souls.
I don't have a real outro or conclusion
subtly, or Dark Souls,
so I'm just gonna throw some spicy takes here at the end.
They're all
to
subtly based on Shinto.
1.
They have a very Western aesthetic to them, but they're blatantly based on Shinto. This is pretty obvious with the kids that Gwen has. It's like I've said this before in other streams. Guinevere is obviously based off of Amaterasu, the sun goddess. Then we got Gwendolyn, who's associated with the moon. He's obviously based on Tsukuyomi, the god of the moon. And Gwen, he's the god of light. He's obviously based off of Izanagi, the father of most of the Shinto pantheon. Basically, he created humans, I think. Yeah, he's the creator of humans, and much of he created the planet along with his wife. Yeah, the planet was nothing until they came. There were gods, but the planet Earth was not formed yet, really. So yeah, he created humans, and his wife became undead, and she became like the counter to him, like a devil, I guess you would say. And she killed the people that he created. But he would always create more than she would kill, so there would always still be people on the planet. She became evil because of something he disobeyed when he went to go see her in the land of the dead. She originally died from giving birth to the fire god, because he burned her alive after she gave birth to him. So she ended up going to the land of the dead, and then Izanagi went down there. Oh yeah, his wife was named Izanami, but he's named Izanagi. And he went down to the land of the dead to go see her, to go get her, and take her back to the land of the living. But she couldn't go because she already ate the food of the land of the dead. It's kind of similar to the Greek pantheon. If you eat the food of the dead in Hades, you can't leave. There's a chance you possibly could leave if you didn't eat the food there. But if you have, you're stuck. Or there's some sort of rules, like they'll allow some leeway, but then you got to follow a certain other rule, like when Orpheus went to go retrieve his lost lover from Hades, he had to agree to not look back, or else she'd be stuck down in the underworld. And right when they were about to leave the underworld, he stupidly looked back and she disappeared out of his arms. He was holding her hand while they were going up to the land of the living. Yeah, rules like that, if they disobey rules like that, then they'll be stuck as well. Because she had already eaten food from the land of the dead at that point. But he was going to agree to let her out. But he fucked up. But yeah. Gwen is supposed to be Izanagi, obviously. Going by the kids that he has. Yeah. And then the Nameless King, yeah, that's his other son. He's obviously based off of Sasana, who is the god of storm. Sometimes he's described as god of destruction, but he's mainly the god of storms and wind and ocean travel. Yeah, and Nameless King he's blatantly associated with the wind. He rides King of Storms, is the name of the dragon he rides. And he has wind abilities himself, so yeah. He's obviously based off of Sasana. And I think we actually do see Gwen's wife or get reference to her in the games. We don't get it confirmed that that's his wife. But I think the game has a way of subtly telling us, given the Shinto references associated with the gods in the game. I would say Rosaria from Dark Souls 3 is likely a reference to Gwen's wife. Likely is his wife. And that's why she's so similar to Guinevere. A lot of people thought that she was Guinevere, but I have another theory. I think that she's Guinevere's mom, aka Gwen's wife, because she has a lot of similarities to Izanami. Because when Izanami died and went down to the underworld, she was also described as decaying, like zombie-like, and also having being covered in a bunch of maggots, basically, a bunch of grubs. And that's how Rosaria looks in Dark Souls 3. She looks undead, and she's also covered in a bunch of man grubs. I think that's supposed to be a nod to Izanami, and with that, a nod to Gwen. I mean, a nod to Gwen's wife. So yeah, there's a lot of Shinto references, even though they look Western. I think that's the case in Elden Ring too. Like, there's a lot of, it looks very Germanic, very Scandinavian. A lot of the gods and themes, but there's a lot of other Eastern type of subtlety to them as well. It's not just that. It's not just Western. There's a lot of Eastern sort of overlap. So that's why I like the the little subtle nods like that. I like investigating this shit and just figuring this out. It's like figuring out a puzzle. That's why I like the story in these games. It's like it tells so much story with the environments and the details about the characters and the references that you can find from other things that they were obviously copying and just figuring it out. It's fun. That's why I like the stories of these games. They tell a lot of the stories told through the environments, through item descriptions, through dialogue. Not just a bunch of exposition and cutscenes, and I respect that. They trust the player to have, to use their brain and to pay attention to the game, not just watch a cutscene or watch some shit on YouTube. Well, I guess a lot of people do watch Vati, but he's not really officially in the game.
Area. The platforming of Blighttown is kind of fun, and the dark filter doesn't really matter much because there's only a few ranged enemies in the entire area anyway. The only really annoying part about Blighttown is the poison. Apart from that, it's a fun and largely unoffensive area. 2. The gargoyles are really easy.
I mean, you say that now, but people had
Sure, there's two of them, but they're both so predictable that it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Since they have long wind-ups, like most bosses in Dark Souls,
he's playing the remaster.
He doesn't have that. They can stand stationary for a long time, and that makes it easier to temporarily split them up and fight one at a time. And 3. Curse frogs are actually a really interesting and innovative enemy. Yeah, I'm lying about that one. Curse frogs are absolutely stupid.
Oh, you're talking about the basilisk? Yeah, they kind of suck. I never got cursed by them on my first playthrough, though. Thank God. My brother did. He got stuck for a while because of that. My brother started playing the game before I did, but when he got cursed, it took him longer to beat the game. I think he quit for a while because that pissed him off. Those fucking basilisks in the sewer.
During its genesis in the early 70s, gaming had something of a childish connotation. Games were simple, two-dimensional, and frequently regarded as little more than playthings for the youth of the time. Kids playing games at an arcade were decidedly not English teachers, film critics, or music viewers working diligently to find meaning or technical understanding of a higher craft. To an onlooker, or perhaps even the player themselves, the day at an arcade was experientially...
But yeah, this was interesting. We killed a boss. Not the one I was intending to. I was wanting to fight Radon. And I thought I was going to be in the Madness Flame Village. Well, what do you call it? The Chaos Flame. That's where I was trying to go, but we ended up finding this place. So I guess we'll continue here tomorrow. Anyway, sorry. If anyone sees this, take care. Have a good night. Or morning.